I think Lucky Toupee may be my favourite of the Short Circuit shorts so far. I found this to be absolutely delightful. If you're unaware of what the Short Circuit shorts are, other than a really fun thing to say, it's a series of short films from Disney where various different Disney employees write and direct a short film. As far as I'm aware, they get full creative control. I'm sure there are some limitations, but they have to come up with the story, direct it and write it. And Lucky Toupee is the end result of the story by Nikki Mull. And what she's come up with here is visually an absolute delight. And it's got a pretty interesting little message in it too about, well, I perceive it to just being about accepting who you are, and also not everybody is as they seem, in a way that makes us all relatable. So this was released last year, 2020, 2 years ago now, um, and is all about these little leprechauns who make lucky toupees and wigs. And there's this individual who is balding, and he is very obviously self-conscious about that. So he orders this wig. There's this fantastic scene where the leprechauns go to his house at night and pluck his hair and then use it to make the toupee. I'm not sure if they were using that to give it magic or if they were plucking that hair to put the finishing touches on, because the entire toupee is made out of his hair. It's a pretty fantastic business model if they're taking his hair to make the toupee, thereby making him lose his hair and then making him buy his own hair back. It's a pretty seamless business model if that's what they're doing. But this Lucky Toupee arrives, but he hasn't got enough money to pay for it. So the leprechauns, or this little leprechaun, doesn't want to give him the toupee. And obviously he's desperate for it because he has a date. A date is arriving soon and he wants to look his best. He doesn't want to be self-conscious. Will he be able to get the toupee back? Or will he have to go without? I won't say what happens, but I will say I was kind of really pleased with the message at the end, and the way both himself and the character, his date, were represented. I thought it worked really well. It was very, very sweet. I did like the sweetness. I liked how meaningful it was. But I have to say, I just loved how fun the leprechauns were, and when we got to see the kind of magical side of it and the construction of the toupee, it was a lot of fun. It was visually very delightful to watch. The story itself is very sweet, but the leprechauns were a lot of fun. The animation style is very nice and really beautiful CGI, very crisp, very lifelike movement. Love the colour choices. There are a lot of kind of greens and earthy tones here. It's beautiful to watch. It's only a couple of minutes in length. It's not obviously the most in... That was rude. I apologise if you can hear a honking horn outside my window. It's obviously not the most in-depth narrative, and yet it still packs in a lot. You could read a lot into this, partly about the leprechauns stealing the hair. I'd love to know if that was the intent, of them stealing the hair to then create the toupees. I think that's brilliant. Sneaky and unkind, but brilliant. And also obviously the message of being who you are and not thinking other people are going to judge you negatively and not being ashamed of the way you look. I think that's, obviously a very strong message. I really enjoyed it. I am pretty confident that so far, I still have a few to go, but so far Lucky Toupee is my favourite in the Short Circuit series.